This is the OHM Sport XS750, and there are really two versions of this bike. There's this one, and then there's the XS750 Plus. The forks are a little bit different. This one's kind of like a hardcore urban bike. Obviously, it's a hardtail. It's got 27.5 650B wheel size, which is sort of unique. Again, it's kind of between 26 and 29, so it's a good happy medium. And it's a 2-inch diameter. These are really nice tires. They're Schwabe Big Bends. They're Kevlar lined, and they've got reflective sidewalls, so they're really tough, really rugged. I'm actually, borrowing this from the new wheel in San Francisco, and I've been trying it on these big hills, and it's working really, really well because it's got the D-Series D500 motor from BionX, and just look how big that thing is. So you're really getting a leverage by having the magnets on this gearless direct drive hub motor spaced further out towards the edge. Great for climbing, really feels torquey. Also just a really big battery on this, and well placed. It's kind of low and towards the center of the frame there. Got a nice kickstand, these aluminum alloy platform pedals, full length fenders, solid rack. This one actually says 30 kilogram max weight. A lot of them just say 25, so this is over 60 pounds. Really impressed with that. Lights front and rear, so you can see here. They run off the battery pack, so everything's all integrated. The battery is removable, which is nice if you're having to lift the bike. Bike comes in 4 different frame sizes, and they all have this nice internally routed cables, suspension fork with adjustment here, so you can lock it out if you want to, and a little bit of rebound adjust on the other side. Also, hydraulic disc brakes, excellent stopping power. Not gonna have to pull quite as hard. Nice quick release on the front here. These are a 160 millimeter, actually 180, misspoke there, 180 millimeter front and rear. So just oversized, really, really great for stopping power, and almost like a mountain bike really here, but with kind of that like urban setup. And they even say like, oh, for trekking. And given that it's almost like it's a lower cut high step, so you get the stiffness of a diamond frame, but with a little bit more of the comfort of a step through. Really like that. It's pretty solid. So the battery size is 48 volts, 11.6 amp hours for 555 watt hours. So it's half a kilowatt hour, and that's definitely above average. 48 volts is going to give you extra power and just really work nicely with that oversized hub motor in the back. And it's just super quiet. That's one of the things I noticed while I was riding around. You don't hear it the way that you hear like geared hub motors. There is a little bit of cogging, which means as you're coasting, the magnets are creating some resistance. They're sort of repelling against the stator, but it feels really smooth, and there's actually a little bit of regen built into this thing. So this is the display panel. It is adjustable. You can kind of swivel it forward or back to reduce glare. It is also removable, so you can kind of take it right off, prevent some vandalism that way, and get it out of the weather. Really like that. You turn it on by pressing this button over here, and then you can cycle through the different readouts with this lower button. So we've got our distance here, odometer, average speed, clock, and then a little battery level indicator. And now there are 4 bars here on the left, 4 bars here on the right. The ones on the left, those are for regen, and you can activate that right from the display here with minus, or you can do it with this little breakout button pad, which I really like. So it's easy to reach as you're riding along. And instead of regen, I'm going to go ahead and take it up to assist. So up, 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 up. And of course, the higher you go, the more battery power you're using, but you're going to get that extra power for climbing big hills or fighting the wind. We've got a little bit of wind going on. And then this red button is actually a throttle, and I love that because sometimes it's nice to just pick your feet up or get a little bit of extra help. Really, really zippy. Great feeling. I just want to finish the rest of the specs here. Little bell, nice grips with lockers on them. Got a 10-speed cassette in the rear, SRAM Via GT. Pretty nice stuff. And then there's that hollow bottom bracket, or that hollow spindle right there, and external bearings. So instead of having the bearings spaced inside, they're a little bit more towards the edge, which gives you stiffness and strength. And then there's this nice sort of aluminum alloy chain guard, which of course protects the teeth and just gives you a little bit of protection from grease, as you can see there on my hand. It should help your pants avoid the chain itself. So Great stuff that way. Again, I mentioned the fenders. They're just plastic, but they've got, you know, extra sort of reinforcement, which is nice, so they aren't going to rub quite as easily. Oh, by the way, 350 millimeter length and 30.9 millimeter diameter on the seat tube. Nice saddle here. Probably a good chance to hop on this thing now and pedal it around a little bit. Get away from the scooters. Okay, there we go. I'm like at the highest level of assist. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to throttle it. There we go, and it's taken me. It's super quiet. Really smooth stopping. And there's a nice hill right there. You see that? That is huge. I'm just gonna try to throttle it up. And it's, you know, it's struggling a little bit, but we're making it. It's climbing with no pedaling from me. Now if I, you know, add my strength a little bit here, now it's no problem. But I mean, this is literally, you know, San Francisco hill, pretty steep. It's awesome to see that.
The D-Series does use a torque sensor, so it's really responsive when you pedal, and of course the harder you push, the more energy you get back. That makes it a more active design. I found myself, you know, using the throttle to kind of help me at moments when I was in a gear that was too high, or maybe even just starting out. But it's definitely going to help to extend your range and create a more fluid feel, that as soon as you stop pushing, the motor backs off. You know, it doesn't feel like it gets out of control.
Now on the way down, I'm gonna put the regen into use. Look at that, we came from way down there. So I'm going all the way down to regen. Now that motor, yeah, you can definitely feel it. I would be careening out of control right now. But the regen is kicking in and we're getting some of that energy back. Okay, now I'm gonna use the brakes. Make sure I get that stop sign. So very impressed, especially at the price point. I mean, this bike it's like 4,000 bucks. A lot of times to get this type of battery and motor power, you're spending, you know, maybe $5,000 or even $6,000. And one of the things that I like about this setup is actually the ergonomics. I mentioned the suspension. It's a pretty good setup right there. But also look at that sort of the stem. It's angled up a little bit more. And I don't know, there's an oversized head tube here as well. It just feels comfortable to ride this thing. Of course, the different sizing options help, but not every bike is built like that. Sometimes you're leaning, you know, really far forward or whatever, and I feel like they've created sort of a monster with this thing, like mountain bike strength, but, you know, road durability and kind of efficiency with those Schwalbe Big Ben tires there. OHM does a pretty good job, and they've been partnered with BionX for a while. Of course, BionX has excellent stuff as well. I guess that's kind of it. Yeah, that's the OHM XS750, and it's a Sport XS750. For the full write-up on this and other electric bikes from OHM, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. There's a lot to this bike, so if you've got one, you want to do a video response, go for it. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you in the forums, and, ride safe.